Hey everybody, this is Rob. Welcome to RB&D Reviews. I'm at my local movie theater and I'm going to be getting ready to go in and seeing the movie Act of Valor. As you can see, it's snowing in my area, but so yeah, I decided to leave the comforts of my nice warm home to go in and see this movie. So what do I know about this movie? Well, I have seen some trailers or commercials for it on TV. What's weird is that apparently there are real people that are part of the SEALs in this movie, and usually you have to get very special permission to do that, and usually I don't think they would really let the filmmakers do this in a normal circumstance, because for one, most of their missions are supposed to be, top secrets, and the missions and the people that are still active members. I know retired people have served as sort of like advisors in movies in the past, but apparently they did get permission to get some real people from the SEALs to do this movie, and it's supposed to add some authenticity to it. So I don't know if this movie is going to be a mix of fiction and I don't know, documentary or what. But another thing that I also know is that the filmmakers really wanted to portray the SEALs as as realistically as possible, and they felt like casting real ones would make it feel more authentic. And I also found out that the movie's budgeted between $15 and $18 million. So even if the movie doesn't make a lot of money during the run of the movie, I predict it's going to make its budget back and maybe give a nice small profit to the people that invested into the movie, the investors. So I'm going to go in now. I'm going to have to leave you behind because, for one, I don't want people to think that I'm going to be recording the movie in the theater and get thrown out before I get to finish it. So I'm going to go in and I'll tell you what I thought of it later on. So I'll catch you later. Well, now I'm at home and I got me a nice cup of tea because it was cold outside. And okay. All right. So now I can talk about Act of Valor now. And compared to what I think of the movie now, compared to what I thought of it before I went into the theater, from what I heard. Well, the film, it does follow a team of active U.S. Navy SEALs, and I think the special warfare combatant crewmen. Basically, the plot is they're going around on different countries trying to fight this particular terrorist in different countries. And this movie is fiction. This movie is not really a documentary, even though the movie was kind of shot like that. Like, you see them skydiving, and the characters, they felt real to me because most of the crew is made up of active SEALs, and you can tell based by their acting. But I'll get onto that. And this movie was shot in real locations, and but it's a fiction film. It's not really a documentary. Well, like I just mentioned, the cast is mostly made up of actual active SEALs, and you can kind of tell that by their acting. And it wasn't bad, but I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, when they're going out and they're fighting, it's more credible because obviously they're active, so they go through that in real life anyway, and they're trained to do that when they go out and do their fights. And I really felt an emotional connection to these characters, because even though we don't get to know them too much, because there are quite a bit of them, you get a taste of them, a little bit about their life. And of course, since these are real Navy SEALs going out and doing these parts, they do this in real life in a way. They go out and they risk their lives, and I think that's probably why I felt a real connection to them, and some of it was very relatable to me. With the movie being shot like a documentary, it wasn't like Safe House where they're being very self-conscious with the shakiness of the camera. It's like we were eavesdropping on our heroes as well as the villains, and eavesdropping and kind of being sort of like part of the movie. I felt part of the movie. I felt like I was sitting in there on their plans, learning how they're going to go through with it, and sitting on the villains to figure out how they're going to go on with their terrorism plot and what have you. And the film features narration which felt like it fit the movie very well. Oftentimes when I've watched movies where they have like a voiceover, it depends on how it's written. Like, if it's written very well, it'll complement the picture very well, but if it's badly written, it feels like they're banging details over the head. So this one fit the picture very nicely. The plot is a bit thin. It's mostly just an excuse to show off the SEALs fighting the enemy but the movie did have a good amount of suspense, and sometimes I was on the edge of my seat, and sometimes I jumped out of my seat at some of this stuff. The novelty of having active Navy SEALs play the characters did kind of wear off a little bit over time, and I found out that this movie actually started out as a not as a documentary, but sort of like a training video. So sometimes this movie does feel like a commercial training movie for people to try to join up with this organization. The action in this movie wasn't really over the top, which is I liked it. But when I was watching this movie, I did kind of see people might think this movie as a propaganda film because it's got a lot of patriotic elements throughout the film. It says we of the U.S. are the best. The characters are good men and women that are defending and protecting our country, and they have good families back home that they had to leave behind in order to go do this. So I think some people might interpret this as just a commercial propaganda film to try to get people to join. Some people might say it's just an action movie. I think I enjoyed the movie, and very much. I think I'll give it a mild see it in theaters verdict. I enjoyed the movie. I think it did slow down a little bit sometimes, and I felt like like I just said, the novelty of having them play character act in this movie kind of wore out a little bit, and it didn't, but the action scenes I thought were very good, and I felt like I was on the edge of my seat with suspense. Oh, one more thing. When I went to see this movie, somebody brought their kid to this movie. Don't do that. This movie's it's violent. It can be very, very violent, and of course there's swearing. This kid must have been like 5 or 6 years old. I mean, this movie is not for kids. Please don't take your kids to see this movie because of that. But other than that, I was entertained by it. So that's my thought on Act of Valor. So what did you guys think of the movie? Leave your comments and I'll read them. So thank you very much for watching, and stay warm.